Tell me more.
Today we're talking about the foundations of intimacy, more specifically how they relate to reconnection. Reconnection. This reminds me of like coming back to the basics. If something's off in your relationship, how can you come back to the basics of intimacy, the foundations of intimacy?
Back to the basics.
Mm-hmm.
Basics of intimacy.
Basics of intimacy. Basics of connection.
Basics of connection. That's like meeting someone for the first time.
Yeah. That could be a great way to look at that.
Can you always look at someone as if seeing them with fresh eyes for the first time? Because you know so much about someone in a relationship.
Yeah, of course.
There's a history there that when you're fresh into a relationship, just isn't there.
Yeah.
And I was speaking with a client this week who's been with his partner for 5 years now, and how their fire at the start was different to the intimacy they've nurtured now.
And?
Foundations of intimacy.
Yeah, right. How, I feel like what you're speaking to there is like how intimacy changes over time. It looks and feels different, or can look and feel different to some degree.
Tell me.
Well, we're talking about reconnection, which I think signifies there must have been a period of disconnection, or feeling less connected than idealized, perhaps. And so noticing how intimacy changes in flux, I think also with life, but also just in the relationship in general, no?
Intimacy changes with life and in a relationship in general. A friend of mine, a relationship just ended, or I just found out about it. She just shared it with me. And she wrote me, relationships are hard.
Amen. Gosh, relationships are hard. They are an initiation. I think there are many initiatory phases of life, and entering into partnership is one of those.
And I think part of that is because you're constantly revisiting the basics.
Yeah. It's funny because there's something that I talk about in trauma and a lot of the trauma-informed spaces where I say, if you're a practitioner or a healer, if you think that you're over the basics, you're jaded and you've missed the mark. Like, we always have to come back to the bases. We always have to come back to the foundations. I don't think there's ever a space where we're above the work in that regard.
What's your foundational work?
In my life in general? Or what do you mean?
Or where are you, what was the last basic you sat with?
The breath. Regulating myself through the breath. It's like the most primitive, most basic, like regulatory tool that I had access to. It was like a moment. It was this moment where there was like a trigger, or there was a tension where it could have manifested into a trigger, but it's like that sweet spot right before you kind of go over the edge where I caught myself and I had agency in that moment. It's like, what do I want to do in this moment? Because otherwise I'm going to go over the edge. And it was like, just come back to the breath.
What did you do?
I came back to the breath.
What did that
I closed my eyes. I slowed my breath. I put my hand on my chest, and I just like inhaled a little bit slower. I exhaled a little bit slower until I felt myself. Like, if you want to imagine this, it was like I was imagining myself on an edge, and I was about to plummet off to the deep end into my triggers, into my emotionality. So in that, as I'm breathing, I could visualize and start to see myself slowly coming away from the edge and just being back into like, I'm okay. I'm actually in a good space here. I'm so glad I took that moment.
How long was that moment? Was that like an hour moment?
No. It was like 10 breaths max.
2-week moment?
No. Sometimes it does take that long.
2 weeks. Sorry, 10 breaths.
At least, like minimum 10 breaths, sorry.
What was the trigger? You don't have to tell me, but context of the trigger.
I just felt like I was up against my edge emotionally, where I could feel there was like so much tension and friction that was building inside of me that it was like, if any one thing went wrong or sideways, your girl was about to lose it. I was about to lose it. And I knew that. I could feel. I was like, oh, okay. I can hold a lot. I have a really big capacity, you guys. I can hold a lot. And so I really notice when I get close to that edge that I'm like, yeah, if something else comes in, your girl's about to pop off. I'm about to lose it on everybody and everything. It's going to be really ugly.
You know what comes to mind for me for that?
What?
Is when I used to do martial arts, and it's that moment just before someone goes towards you. And it's that, you know it's coming.
You can feel the tension.
You know it's coming.
And the energy,
It's like just waiting for it.
And then it finally goes. Or it doesn't, right? That's that. So that's that moment. Like that's like a threshold where you hope to have as much choice as possible. Because if you don't, you just get triggered and you go over the edge. However, if you can feel the somatic symptoms, as we say, building in the body, then it helps you know, like, okay, in this moment, if we're talking about in relationships, it's like, I'm feeling this tension. What do I need in this moment? I need space. I need connection, right? And creating an opportunity for those things to be expressed. So I think that's also like foundation of intimacy is like, do we have the ability to communicate what our needs and desires are in the moment as honestly as possible?
As honestly as possible.
Yeah.
Honesty is a tricky thing.
Tell me more.
Deeply playful.
Yeah. Tell me in a deeply playful way.
Honesty can be deep.
Yep.
Doesn't always feel playful though. Sometimes it cuts. Just like a kitten.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean to. It hasn't learned to control its claws yet.
Yeah. It's a practice.
Just right on the edge.
Yeah.
Knife edge.
It's a practice.
Okay, so breathing.
Breathing was my most foundational tool that I came back to this week. What about you? Because we've just been navigating a period of disconnection, I would say. And I feel that this period really asked us to speak more openly and honestly, which we finally got there. We needed a lot of tension to get to that point, I think.
And we stayed this side of the knife edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reflecting.
I mean, closely.
Yeah, but
we got real close.
Yeah. And same, likewise.
Yeah.
And I was reflecting on that, going, last time I was here, it went very differently. It did go sideways. This time, it didn't.
What do you think was different for you in that experience?
Me, a completely different person.
How? How have you changed?
Living in a different country, for one.
Mexico regulates you.
Clearly.
Maybe.
Sunshine.
Yeah, sunshine.
That's definitely a big part of it.
Environment matters. Environment
100%.
matters a lot, y'all. Environment matters a lot.
Yeah. Tony Robbins says this, you become a product of the people that you're around most. He doesn't use those words specifically. I'm paraphrasing here, but that's the general thrust of it.
So you're different. Your environment is different. What else has changed about you from then to now?
Slow down. Less reactive. Sometimes unreactive.
What has helped you do that? What has helped you slow down?
Tantric yoga.
Okay, talk about it.
Yeah. Ask. And you shall receive.
What about Tantra and what about yoga do you feel like have helped you slow down, feel more centered? Let's start with Tantra.
It didn't though in the past. I've been doing yoga for over a decade now. And it didn't save me in that moment before. Like my practice then didn't.
Were you using it the same though? I feel like your practice has evolved a lot.
Hugely.
Like we were just talking the other day. It's like when he does yoga, it's not sun salutations and that's the end of your yoga practice. You really like brought the philosophy of yoga, yogic living, into your life. And then Tantra kind of weaves its Kundalini energy in there also, which does what for you? What does Tantra offer you? That's the deep.
Exactly. And here comes the playful.
Yeah.
Pause. It offers a lot. To encapsulate it into words, I'd need a lot longer than the time I've allotted. In an essence, it does help me return to myself. I've been sitting with the practices of it, as well as the education behind it. There's two different elements, right? You can learn something. You can learn to drive a car, and you can actually drive a car.
Yes.
Ideally, you're doing both.
Concept versus embodiment.
Knowledge versus wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't embodied in me previously in the way that it is now. And that, I would say, is what it's given me the difference. The poses of yoga were a part of my life, but the philosophy wasn't, because that's not what I was practicing. I was practicing handstands. I was practicing movement.
Flexibility.
Right. I wasn't practicing...
would you say, sorry to cut you off there, but I brought up this thought. Would you say that in the past, your yoga was more performative?
Less somatic.
Less somatic.
Yeah.
Less embodied.
Yeah.
Though you were good at it. You could do yoga poses. Things, you could do yoga.
When I say you can do a one-handed handstand and still be a bit of an asshole.
Right.
So tantric teachings say that yogic practice amplifies what's there. If you're a good person, it amplifies that. And if you're a bit of a dick, it amplifies that. And that's not to say that's who you are at your essence. That's the egotistical character you've adhered yourself to, demonstrating itself. Your essence nature is a loving being.
So
if that's not what is doing the practice, then it amplifies what's at the being held onto.
Yeah.
The foundations. It amplifies the foundations.
Nice.
There it is.
That's great. That's a good loop back. I'm curious,
we got there, friends.
In the experiences that we've had in our one-on-one client work, as well as in our community, what have you seen as the reflector that you are? What have you seen typically tends to cause couples to drift apart? Oh, I had one that just immediately came up, but I'll wait.
Was it expectation?
No.
Was it
Mine was miscommunication.
My mind went to time, expectation, and miscommunication.
Sounds like a recipe for disaster, both of those together. Uh-oh, y'all, we're going down a slippery slope. Miscommunication. For me, it's these constant projections of perception. And this is so hard, you guys. This is so hard to master because I feel like even for as much as we evolve, there's still this little sneaky part of maybe our emotions or just deeper relational patterns that start to just emerge. They just kind of continue to emerge in different relationships. That could be business, that could be intimate, familial.
I think it goes back to the foundations. What's the foundational beliefs that you're bringing in to that relationship?
Yeah.
Because they will be revealed.
Of course. So if I feel or if I've had proof in my past, as an example, where every time I spoke up honestly, it led to consequence of some sort, then that would create a fear, no doubt, in my nervous system as well, that basically affirms to me I can't speak up honestly in this relationship because patterns have shown or history has proven that when I do, XYZ happens. And so there's like a nervous system response that gets triggered anytime that person needs to speak honestly. That might prevent that. And there's a perception that's being projected onto the partner that goes, I'm going to be honest and you're going to attack me for it, or whatever the example is.
Playfully deep.
Playfully deep.
Yeah.
And you were saying time.
Time.
What does that mean to you?
So clients that I've worked with, they've been together a long time. And at the beginning of a relationship, we have that honeymoon phase. I think that's the first of the three.
Yeah.
What were the three?
Honeymoon. Where they're doing, gosh, it's enmeshment, but it's called something different. And then individuation.
Okay, so the three phases are when you're together and it's fiery, and then you become so enmeshed, and then you need to separate.
Yes. To come back to your own identity.
To come back to your own identities, and then see how they can.
And then you're interdependent.
Interdependent, but not independent.
Yes.
And that means you're the optimal version of yourself in harmony with the other person being the most optimal version of himself.
Exactly.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That's almost like, as you say it like that, it makes me think that's where real, true, that's the truth of intimacy, right? I feel like there's something that's far more, I hesitate to say the word real, but there's something that's far more authentic about couples who have been together for a long time, who have gone through like the excitement of the honeymoon and the fireworks, and then you're super enmeshed, and then at some point you come back to like your center as an individual while still coexisting. There's an authenticity there that I think only couples who are together for a long period of time get to access. And there's a real beauty in there, I think, in a richness.
Yeah, because that beauty and richness is those foundations.
Yeah.
Those foundations that it's like, okay, this is what we're coming back to, and this is what we've chosen. And that gets to be revealed in the dynamic over time through the conflict, right?
Yeah.
Through the conflict, it reveals...
Who are we really? That's what conflict asks. Who are we really?
In this dynamic, in this environment, in this milieu. What belief is the foundation? What are we holding on to? And in getting to explore that through conflict, it creates disconnection. And then there's the, okay, well, I thought we were in this belief, this is what's been revealed. Or like, I thought this about myself, and this is what has been revealed.
Yeah, right.
How do we then build on that rather than looping forever in the suffering of that? And coming to an agreement of sorts, because that's the only way, right?
Do you feel like those small windows of disconnection are necessary? I'm tending, at my current moment, I'm tending to think so. That there needs to be these moments of like when there's friction or tension in the relationship, having that beat or those moments to be with yourself in order to just get clear on like what's happening within me right now. So that when we do come together, it can feel a little bit more like us against the problem as opposed to us against each other.
And that's how can I hold on to expanding in a playfully deep way when I'm being mirrored back, revealed. I show up like that. Oh, okay. Well, there's something to resolve there.
Right.
And
this is bringing me back to what you kind of asked a rhetorical question, but around can we ever truly see each other with fresh eyes when we've developed a history? And I think that there's like, yes, I think that you can, and it is such a deep practice in order to say like, wow, I've seen you, for our example, right? It's like, oh, I've seen you every single day for like 780 days now. There's like a history that I've downloaded about him, right? There's ways that I've seen you that it takes a lot of compassion and grace and also a bit of an ego check in my own sense of self to say, I've seen all these versions of you, and in this moment, I'm choosing to see that you are also growing, that you are also changing and transforming and evolving. And that's what I'm anchoring into, that you are still progressing as opposed to
the version I met.
The version I met, or the version who was here a week ago or yesterday.
Seeing each other with fresh eyes, these couples that are experiencing disconnect, they knew at the start of the relationship that there's fire, and seeing each other in fresh eyes isn't necessarily seeing the lust that you had when you first got together.
Right. It's seeing them in the now. Like what is this being experiencing in the now? Can I actually see them for what they're experiencing in the now? And I think it's hard to take ourselves out of our own righteousness and our own perception. Well, in our perception, in order to be able to see another person clearly. I personally find that so hard. That's something that I'm really working on, is being able to see people where they're at right now without presumption. And wow, those patterns run really deep.
I think it's seeing someone, something like seeing someone, and tell me how this lands. Seeing someone as a child in a...
Just a little baby developing.
As in...
on the path.
Everyone's doing the best they can with what they know at any given moment.
I have to hope that.
And kids are a great example of this. It's they're trying to tie their shoe, but they don't know how yet.
Yeah.
And to get angry at a kid because they're trying to do it in earnest, but ultimately not getting there quickly enough.
This is that expectation also, the expectation that they should be further along, they should know more, it should look or feel a certain way.
Someone's collapsing timelines there. And I agree with you.
We'll talk about that. What does that mean to you?
I agree with you.
Timelines there.
The expectation is that you should be able to do it already. It's like, I can do it. You're just not giving me long enough.
Or the space to figure it out on my own, to like learn and develop that skill on my own.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that reveals itself in relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know how to do things that I don't know how to do. And it would be easy to... You just flush.
Yeah.
Like,
you just do the thing.
You just do the thing. It reminds me of... that's like telling someone how to fly a plane is you get in the plane and you fly the plane.
Yeah.
Like, great.
You just love each other, damn it. You just love each other.
Just get in the car.
All you gotta do is...
and you drive.
Yeah. When you read it in a book, and you have these aha moments, you're like, oh my God, of course. Like, just love one another. And then in practice, in theory, it's like, woof, that's when you really learn what you're made of, conceptually, emotionally, spiritually, etc.
I get the concept, but I'd love some detail. That leads into a really interesting question that came up on my birthday last Saturday. We were celebrating 1038, 38. And the conversation of what does love mean to you came into the trialogue, I think, quadruplelogue. I think there were 4 of us.
To the group discuss.
Yeah. It's an interesting topic, maybe for next week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. Okay. Was there something you were going to say about that in particular?
I do have a definition, but you were saying how I understand, just love one another. but have really taken the time to understand the detail of what that actually looks, feels, speaks, relates like.
Like, can you still love this person when you absolutely hate their guts in that moment? That's like a real test.
Like in sickness and in health.
Just like, poof. I see you in your demons, and I'm going to still love you in this moment, even though they're like destroying me. It feels like.
Really, I'd love to do a conversation on divorce as well. I think that'd be a really interesting conversation.
Sure.
For another week.
Yeah. Go ahead. No, go ahead. I want to hear your brain.
So many thoughts to grab onto.
You have to channel them. You have to close your eyes and channel them to the correct gate. That's what works
Playfully
for me
deep.
Anyway.
Playfully deep.
Playfully deep.
Reconnection. And foundations of intimacy. Foundations of intimacy. What has that been for you, for us, as we've navigated disconnection? What has been our foundation? One of them for me has been church. It's been an anchor.
Yeah. And I like that when we tune into church, we leave in good moods.
Yeah.
You know, it's like this piece that elevates us despite how challenging things might be. Move my cord here.
Yeah. For me personally, it's having my movement practice in my morning routine. And now, actually, I'm feeling a lot better because I'm starting to implement an evening routine. And
okay. Yeah. Very nice.
And that's been supportive. Another thing that's anchored has been contact massage for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
It's been a great way to reconnect, to play, to be deep.
Yeah. It's a little touch point because we're touching each other.
It's quite literally.
It's a
sometimes there's also energetic.
But it always leads to touch. We've never had a straight energetic.
Should we have a straight energetic session?
No, because I go for touch. I do contact to be contacted.
I contact to go beyond contact.
Yeah. Fair. For me, definitely morning practices, like church, yes. For us as a couple, I think church. Us having our own individual morning practices, like for mine's been prayer and study. That's been really key for me in allowing me to kind of just like see my own patterns and also just like, what would Jesus do, right? I really just kind of tap into that. Like, what would Jesus do in this moment of like struggle and strife and self-sufficiency? So it's been nice to have that perspective as a seed in my mind. As a potential. I call it a seed of potentiality.
What do you think made him so divine to be able to do that?
Besides like being God?
Yeah. Well, what is it about him being God that meant that he could do that?
I think that the mission was so planted in his heart that he couldn't not do it. Because it's not like Jesus never got upset, because obviously he went into the square and he was like fucking shit up. You know, he was like yelling at people.
He was a human. He had human emotions. He experienced losing a parent. He experienced 30 plus years of living in a human body. His
Physical
friend died.
trial.
His friend died. Yeah. His cousin was murdered. He experienced emotion and yet didn't let it get the better of him.
And yet he still chose.
Chose what?
Love.
He chose love. How? Because he's God.
Because he's God.
Because he is love.
He came here with that mission. He is love.
He
came here with that mission. And he was just so affirmed in it. I also was just in his DNA. Like if I think about it that way, I'm just like, if you're coming from God on earth to serve a mission, if you didn't serve the mission, you'd be a pretty shit son of God and God.
Serve the mission.
Yeah. So anyway, circling back around, prayer.
He knew the mission and he served it, committed to it.
I mean, that's why he was Manifest. That's why he was manifest, to serve that mission, to play that mission out.
Oh, wow. Whoa. Whoa.
Deep.
Yeah. Playful.
Yeah. That was our like theme for today's chat, y'all. It was like deep and playful. How can we make this deep and playful?
Whoa. He was manifest for that purpose.
For that purpose. Which is so interesting when we think about why we are made manifest. This is like where I love my study, because it challenges me to think like that and to really sit with myself and ask these like really hard questions around why I'm not doing those things. Like what gets in the way of me fulfilling that same mission?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What's getting in the way of me fulfilling that mission?
Bible study is really taking places, y'all.
And I think this is...
It's making me a better person, let me just
say.
But
I think this is the point, and I think it's a point a lot of Christians miss, is that it is... We're not... Or maybe it's everyone's getting it, but we haven't necessarily, it seems so far, been manifest to carry out that mission like Jesus was. And yet we can get as close to it as we can by identifying what's getting in the way and peeling those layers so that we get those few steps closer.
It's what,
He's what's possible.
Exactly.
For everyone, because he was a man.
In essence.
With a divine purpose.
Yeah, exactly. In essence, we can all access that.
Yeah.
Just are we willing to do the work to achieve that goal?
It's like, if you were in his position, would you have done the same? Would you have borne that suffering on the cross? Would you have?
I think about all the ways in my life I currently don't.
Exactly.
And how hard that is, right? So,
right.
I'm like, would I go and suffer for humanity? That's a big ask, right? I'm like,
that
wow,
Mother Teresa book you were telling me about.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Again, that was like,
crazy.
She felt like that was her mission.
Yeah.
That's a bigger topic for another day. Mission.
Yeah.
I've been sitting with that myself. It's world-shattering in a great way.
Yeah, I feel like it really starts to highlight where you're living in illusion, and it makes you question like where that or those beliefs even came from and why.
Foundations of intimacy.
Yeah. Foundations of intimacy. It brings you back to the foundation. It strips you to your core. This journey, relationships also, it strips you to your core because
businesses too.
You're not only reflecting each other's energy, you're potentially amplifying or magnifying that energy.
Yeah.
And then you have to figure out, what's true in all of that. Once you strip away like the emotionality, the projections, perceptions, beliefs, right? There's a lot of work that gets done in the space of intimate relationship, especially when it's like, you are meant to be my person.
Well, I think that's when a lot of disconnection leads to divorce, because this is too much to handle.
Yeah.
Even though I know it's for my benefit, even subconsciously.
Right.
It's there to help me. I can't deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't have the tools.
I
don't have the tools.
Right. So, and that leads to disconnection and sustained disconnection over time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it just erodes intimacy. Yeah. What do you think? We were talking about this a little bit earlier. We touched on this around the things that we feel prevent couples from being able to deepen in their intimacy. And one of the things was like having hard conversations. Mm-hmm. A lot of couples will avoid hard conversations. This could be for a myriad of reasons. Like maybe you're a chronic people pleaser. Maybe tension just feels really bad in your body, so you avoid it. Maybe you're afraid the honesty is going to hurt the other person. So there's like hard conversations. You mentioned expectations is something that prevents people from intimacy. And I'd love for you to speak to this for a second. And I just want to caveat before you do, like, when we're talking about intimacy, we're talking beyond just sexual connection, right? We're talking about emotional intimacy, and we're talking about, I'm letting you see me in this moment, and I'm trusting that we can handle that. And that whatever comes out of this moment, whether we're having a very playful, passionate moment, or we're having a moment of like incredible tension and disconnect, that is of our benefit, and that it is helping us build a deeper sense of trust and safety in our bond.
Deeper trust and safety in our bond. Intimacy is beyond sexual connection and includes it.
Yes.
Both and.
Yes.
And
that's not just, I'm just caveating for all of y'all. We're not talking just about sexual intimacy.
No, we're not just talking about everything outside of that. It's all of it.
It's all of it.
Intimacy being, yes, sexual connection and also emotional connection, like you said.
What makes hard conversations and expectations and honesty about desires, why do you feel like that's a block for a lot of people?
So there was a question I almost put in a group, but I'll share it now, is how do you hold on to desire without grasping for expectation? How do you hold on to desire without grasping for exptation? Because desire is human. Jesus had desires.
Yeah, of course.
He needed to eat. And how do you hold on to that without expecting that you'll get it?
Yeah.
It makes me think of when he sends the, not yet apostles, the disciples out 2 by 2 and says, don't take any money.
Yeah, don't take anything.
You will be fed. They desired it and they didn't hold on. I think probably a lot of them didn't expect to be fed.
Yeah.
But they trusted. They trusted, right?
Yeah, they had to have. Even in their doubt, I'm sure they were walking down the streets like, I do not know where we are going to get fed.
I don't know where we're going to live next month.
Yeah.
But something will come through.
Yeah.
And it does.
Yeah.
And it does.
And it does.
And it does.
I think there's also a piece about not being attached to timelines there. Healing, if we're talking about reconnection, this feels really important, right? It's like not being attached to the timeline of what each individual needs in order to kind of come back to wholeness. Because again, each individual is on its own journey and having to work through their own battles internally so that you can come back together.
So this got me thinking about, I used to run marathons. That's not true. I ran a marathon and I used to run half marathons. And when I set off past the start line, I have a desire to cross the finish line. If I don't hold on to that desire, I will just, you could just wander off, or you could give up because you've defined a timeline. But if I say, I'm going to cross that finish line no matter how long it takes, then that's where you're going. And you know you're going to get there.
Willpower. But also I think like hope, right? Like desire, having a desire creates like this motivation. All of a sudden it's like if you have a desire, it feels inspiring and it kind of activates you towards the next step. And then in theory, you would just continue doing that. We have 3 minutes.
You just continue.
3-minute warning for y'all.
Continue doing what?
You continue taking the next action steps because the motivation is there. The desire is strong enough that it motivates you to take the next step.
Tell me what you think of this. As part of the Mycelium business group for
the mastermind
for female entrepreneurs. Reading, sharing, studying Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Tell me what you think of this. Desire equals thought plus emotion plus faith plus action plus perseverance.
I think that's literally everything we just said. Yeah.
Unsurprising.
Because then you take the action and you go through that whole list, right? And then you're affirmed in some way. Like it works. Let's say it works. So that then feeds the motivation to continue. Or if it doesn't work, provided you have a resilient nervous system, you can then pivot and stay on because the desire is still burning within you. Like challenge hasn't dwindled the desire.
I had, maybe this is the definition of faith, but I had no doubt that I would not cross that finish line. Mm-hmm. Maybe you call that faith. I had faith.
Confidence?
Confidence.
Mix of both.
But is that the faith?
Faith in yourself. Faith
the conviction?
in the possibility. Yeah, conviction.
Yeah, what does faith mean to you? Like, I know what a thought is, I know what emotion is, I know what action is, and I know what perseverance is. That's action over time.
I would say faith is a belief that it's happening.
Oh, yeah. Faith is a belief that it's happening. Mm-hmm. That's why it's so important to have the foundations of belief agreed upon, because if one person's trying to get one thing and another person's trying to get another thing, then it's just a tug of war.
Right. There's a difference of values there. Okay, because we're at time. What is, based upon connection, reconnection, foundations of intimacy, for couples that are desiring to reconnect or going through a period of reconnection?
Contact massage, 100%.
Why? Why contact massage? Why this practice?
Why this practice? Because you get a taste of tantric yoga, because it's interweaved. Mm-hmm. You get somatics.
Nervous system regulation. Between the two bodies.
You get what I think a lot of yoga... You get what yoga gives in the sense of presence, but I think you get what yoga misses, and that's connection to another human being.
Yeah. Yeah.
And massage. I mean, we love touch.
Yeah, touch is a great way to just like actually physically feel each other's body. And what I love about contact massage is there is an element of the third, which we talk about, which is like there's you, me, and then there's the energy that exists between us. And how is that? Like contact massage points out if it's really rough in there, if there's a lot of excitement and passion in there, if it's somewhere in between, it highlights.
Is that tether a single thread or a rainbow road?
Right. Yeah,
highway.
Exactly.
Or just a narrow...
Are we literally hanging on by a thread, but it still exists? Mm-hmm. That's a good sign, right? You can place your faith and you can place your hope in that.
That's challenging for a lot of couples, though, because they have the expectation of how it used to be.
Of course. Of course.
They see the thread as a negative rather than a positive.
Exactly.
And holding on to the positive is the faith. So
that's the faith that, hey, there's a thread.
It hasn't been severed.
We can work with this. Yeah, we can work with this thread. So if you want to learn more about contact massage, you can message us, you can comment. We could
There'll be a link to the website in the description.
Okay, perfect.
I'm so glad. Complete.
I feel complete.
Green
Thank you for joining us.
7.
Green 7. Woo, he's lit. I'm a green 4.
Lovely.
I'm like mildly lit.
Mildly lit.
Yeah.
Embering.
Yeah, exactly.
Glowing.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, afterglow. Thanks everyone for joining.
Have a